More than 130,000 people watch the Victorian League and Association matches every Saturday throughout the football season, and more than 400 players take part in these matches each week. Here we see a section of the vast crowd at a league game at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Australians claim theirs to be the fastest, most spectacular and thrilling football game in the world. Their code is noted for its high marking, continued action, delightful kicking and brilliant handball. Weight is used freely but fairly, and the pace is a cracker all the time. See how this player extricates himself from a difficult position with a nice turn. Now watch this play on after a mark. The drop kick is the most popular in Australian football, and distances up to 70 yards are frequently covered by experts. The correct method for the drop kick. The ball is held firmly with the fingers apart and thumbs about 3 inches from the lacing. The ball is dropped at an angle of about 45 degrees. Timing is more necessary than sheer force, and the weight of the body is transferred to the non-kicking foot so as the kicking foot follows through after contacting the ball. A follow-through after kicking gives the ball considerable loft and at the same time enables the player to maintain his balance. The punt kick is also used for sending the ball great distances. There is the floating punt and the torpedo punt. Note the manner in which the ball is held for the torpedo punt. For a right foot kick, the left hand is on the front left-hand side of the lacing, and the right hand is at the back right-hand side of the lacing, and the ball is held at an angle shown, and kicked with the outside of the foot. It travels through the air in a spiral fashion, maintaining the same angle as shown in the close-up section just seen. Most accurate of all, the place kick should be used when shooting for goal, from acute angles against the wind. The ball is placed so that the point where the four seams meet is visible to the kicker, who never takes his eye from the ball. The non-kicking foot should be alongside the ball when the kicking foot makes contact. The follow-through is again necessary to maintain body balance, control, and timing. When passing the ball short distances, the stab kick should be used. The ball is kept low and can be directed to a teammate with unerring accuracy. It is a short, sharp action and there is no follow-through. Marking is the most spectacular and thrilling feature of the Australian game and should be practiced by all junior footballers. The main features are head up, eyes on the ball all the time, fingers outstretched with the player ready to move in any direction as he judges the flight of the ball. The slow motion action of this player showed concentration, eyes following the ball, head up, and fingers outstretched. Now once again, follow those main points. Head up, eyes on the ball, fingers outstretched, and now a good, firm grip. Players should not attempt to mark above their heads when the ball is wet and the ground heavy. Marking on the chest is essential, and the player must keep in front of his opponent. Look at that firm grip. There was not much chance of the ball slipping out of those arms. Flick passing is the quickest method of disposing of the ball to a teammate at close range. The ball, struck with the open palm off the flat of the other hand, may be sent in any direction. Watch how quickly these players get rid of the ball by means of the flick pass. The punch pass is the most popular method of handball, and like the flick pass, is used by players when playing on or in trouble. Look at this perfect punch pass in slow motion. Receiving a pass, this player turns sharply and the ball is struck with a clenched fist off the palm of the other hand. Direction and accuracy is obtained by bringing the fist well back before executing the punch. Watch how this player trapped in a corner disposes of the ball to a teammate who is following through in the background. Forced away from his goal, this player gathers in the ball. Realising he is hemmed in, he turns sharply and, seeing a teammate leading out for a pass, punches the ball with unerring accuracy in front of his colleague, who takes it in his stride and plays on. Young players must be able to turn quickly and adeptly in order to extricate themselves from difficulty. Here we see the blind or baulk turn, where a player being forced away from his goal must double back into the play to dispose of the ball. This turn is executed by a thrust with the inside foot and a feint in the opposite direction to that in which he intends to turn. Now watch it closely. Did you notice the one-handed pick-up, now thrust to the right, quick turn on the outside foot and play on? Here we see a player in possession of the ball making a perfect sidestep baulk and playing on by means of handball. Watch the way he glides around the player who tackles him and then disposes of the ball with a punch pass. Now we will show it to you again. Follow it closely. The player is coming down the ground, bouncing the ball in his stride. An opponent runs in to tackle him. Now watch this baulk and glide. Wasn't that perfect? A player should never give up, but always be on the alert to make a good recovery. Note the player in the dark jersey shepherding for his teammate who has the ball. His colleague trapped, he drops back, takes a pass and plays on. Did you see that turn and punch pass? His teammate has lost the ball. No, he fights it out and receives a free kick for interference. The value of playing on. Every player should be able to pick up the ball with either hand by running at top speed and yet maintain his balance. Judgment must be shown in approaching the ball so that it is between the legs when being gathered in. Note the ease with which these players gather in the ball. The correct method of tackling an opponent in possession is to grasp him firmly around the waist and retard his progress. Watch the firm grip used in this illustration. When a player is coming through with the ball, he should be met firmly with the hip, shoulder and elbow. In ruck play, there should be a definite understanding between follower and rover, so that the rover is able to move in the direction in which the ball is going to be hit, therefore gaining a break over his opponent. Now look at the rover on his toes, anticipating a hit out and moving in the direction of the ball. This time the rover must break away to the right. Watch how he carries the ball between his opponents, while the follower, knowing the intention of his rover, slips away to take a pass or help the rover if necessary.
Geelong meets Collingwood in the Australian Football League Grand Final on Melbourne Cricket Ground, and all Melbourne meets its debtors and its creditors. 88,540 frantic fans make the cement walls bulge as they create an oscillation record for a football crowd. Exactly 742 more sporting addicts than the huge herd which packed the historic ground to see the climax of the third cricket test last series. Bradman played that day. Geelong and Collingwood meet this day. Collingwood in the strike. The bounce, and they're at it. And what a game. In the early stages, it did seem that the tipsters were right for once, as Collingwood were hot favourites. Geelong both kicked and marked as though the strain of a final with nearly 90,000 spectators was too much for them. Collingwood actually led by 31 points with only 5 minutes to go in the first term. Then Reg Hickey, who led his team superbly, made a couple of drastic alterations in the positions of his men. And what a difference! The side steadied and reduced the lead to 18 points at the first change. The improvement continued in the second quarter. And by half-time, there were only 5 points in Collingwood's favour. In the third term, the huge crowd was treated to one of the best, possibly the best display of Australian rules football ever seen in a final game. Geelong at one stage was 13 points to the good, but Collingwood with a superb burst drew level right on the bell, 80 points all. The two teams, great sports as they are, shook hands at the final change. Then came Geelong's paralysing finish. Collingwood was playing a great game, but Geelong, playing with electrifying dash, smashed through the defence and ran out victors by 32 points. Congratulations to both teams. The game will go down to history as the cleanest final ever contested. Collingwood went down fighting, but listen to Geelong. They bar nothing. Bar one.
In presenting this film, the Herald is supplying a new and novel method of showing young footballers how to correct their individual faults and thus improve their play. Naturally, team tactics, training and coaching methods have not been dealt with, as coaches have their own ideas on these features. It is the earnest hope that this film will play no small part in furthering the grand game of Australian football.